So your life in the US, because that's why you started to have dreams about just owning your own stuff. But, you know, that was a good dream and a goal. But it wasn't just you finish and then boom.
Absolutely not. Yeah. So I graduated in international relations.
Yeah.
I knew through school that I wasn't really going to do anything with it. And I did not know what I wanted to be when I grew up at all. So I graduated and just like ventured into corporate America. And then at the time, my sister lived in New York. My brother and sister, Elisa, was working in fashion. She had this fancy life.
Yeah.
She was working for like Armani and like all these brands and styling. I don't know, NAS. And I'm like, I like that stuff. But I do, you know, I'm not a fashionista really.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, she's like, come to New York and see what's up. So I went to venture. And I did, so the fashion industry is many things, right? It's clothing, it's accessories, it's eyewear, it's cosmetics. And I dabbled in each one. So I was just going like from each to each and seeing what I really love. And I for sure found my life's passion and love in beauty. So I did work for 2 big brands, Clinique and MAC, in the beauty space. And it was in the retail area, but they trained me really, really well. And I did work in retail and learned that side of the business and knew that I didn't want to stay in retail though. So I always had a full-time corporate job in fashion still. I somehow ended up in the eyewear industry. So I was working with, how it is, like the big brands, the Gucci's and Dior's and them, they license out their accessories and eyewear to a licensing company. So I worked for these licensing companies. A bunch of them, I think 3 in my eyewear career. So I worked with big brands in that, and I worked in product development for them. So they trained me as well. Like I started off as an office manager, moved on to product development. And so I stayed there. That was like my bread and butter situation. And still working in fashion, you know, building brands, creating product in eyewear. I love eyewear also. And so learned that side of everything inside of fashion. But like my love in beauty was not dying anyway. So I stayed doing my freelancing work on every evenings and weekends. I'm working with models and photographers, building my portfolio, building my kit while working with these big brands. And you know, just like working backstage, doing free jobs, like, you know, building my bucket, and honing my skills, working under super professionals, learning from them. So I did a lot of that. Learning and honing. So coming back home, I moved back home in 2007.
What necessitated the move?
My husband, who was not my husband then. So we had met, and so both our plan was to come back home.
Oh, he was also there in New York?
We met there, yeah. Oh. Well, I knew him from here from a long time ago, but we met properly there. And then, so he was also willing to move back. I mean, so that was, you know, when you're dating, you're like, what's your plan? What's your plan? So fortunately, both our plan was, I want to go back home at some point. I was like, and as soon as possible. He's like, you know, maybe sort of in the next 3 years. Come a few months later, he's transferred by his job. So we moved. So towards the end of 2007, I came back home. So I mean, I was like, you know, what am I going to do when I get home? Because now I'm not going to do product development for designer eyewear in Nairobi. That doesn't really exist.
That doesn't exist.
I'm like, you know what? This is my chance to do my true love full time. What's happening in the beauty industry in Kenya? So I did a lot of research, made some contacts, took a trip before I moved back. My cousin was getting married, so I took that opportunity to meet and greet. I met my Connie Watch and like the photographers, David Beatty, the magazines, True Love and Drum were up and coming then. So I went and showed everyone my book, and I'm like, hey, I'm moving back in a few months.
Must have been like, when you come,
call us when you come.
And
sure enough, I came, and they made it easy for me to hit the ground running. The industry was very small at the time as well. There was like 3 or 4 professionals, Hassan and Jillian, and I met Fatu in that time. So we worked together. It was beautiful, so easy. I'm like, hey, you guys, I can't do this. Can you do this? And they're like, I'm not free on this day. I'm booked for something else. Can you? We would exchange jobs. We would work together. Compared to what it is now.
Yeah, what is it now?
It's wild. I could never have survived now in the freelance makeup industry now. Wow. No, I watch them. I'm like, God bless you all.